Hi everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Are you looking for a way to organize and store your 6x6 papers? Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to stop by. Thank you all so much for deciding to spend a portion of your day with me, and thank you for the many positive ways that you support my channel, whether it is by leaving supporting and encouraging comments, buying me a cup of coffee, being a member of my monthly members group, watching my ads, watching my video all the way through, subscribing. Everything that you do really does help my channel. So today we're going to focus on our 6x6 papers. I don't have a lot of 6x6 paper pads, but I know that a lot of you do. And so like any other size of paper, you're always looking for a way to store it. Today, I think I have something that might just help. So we're going to make this really cute 3-sectioned paper organizer for those 6x6 pads or 6x6 papers that you might have. And as you can see, it really is cute, and I think that you guys are going to absolutely love this. We can put it out on the desk, or you can put it in your cabinet. You can place it on top of the cabinet. Completely up to you how you want to do it. But this is going to give you a great way to organize and display your 6x6 paper pads. So y'all know what time it is. It's time to make it. All right, y'all, here's a closer look at our fabulous 6x6 paper storage. What I've done is I've sectioned it so that when you do have your papers in, if you're like me and you don't have a lot, I'm one of those people, I don't like for my paper pads to flop over because I don't have a full box. So I sectioned it so that if you happen to be like me and you don't have a lot, but you do want what you have in a nice storage place, this will probably work for you. And it's super easy to make. These are going to have a flat bottom and a flat back so that you can actually place them in a cubby, or you can sit them out on your desk. You can press them against the wall and they're not going to protrude out. So this is going to be a very cute way to have this 6x6 storage unit out on your desk, countertop, shelf, bookcase, wherever you want to put it. Now, when finished, this is going to measure 6x6 by 6. This will be a chipboard project, and if you don't have chipboard, you can double, triple stack cereal type boxes, or you can use whatever it is that you have that you think will work for this project. You can also use foam board for this if you want. So you're going to need 4 pieces that measure 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, and you will need 2 pieces that measure 6x6. Then I have my decorative pieces that will cover the inside slot pieces here, and I have 2 pieces that measure 8 by 12, and then I'm going to be tying it all together using some Rossi Italian wrapping paper. Now, you don't have to have Rossi Italian wrapping paper, but on projects like this, when I really want some consistency and flow and I don't have to piece together a whole bunch of pieces to get my look, I like to work with wrapping paper. You can work with any type of wrapping paper, rolled paper, wallpaper, contact paper, whatever it is you have. But if you do start out with a large sheet of some type of covering, that is going to give you a very professional looking project. So this sheet is 20 by 30, and I'll show you how I'm going to trim it down in just a minute. So I'm going to take my 2 pieces that measure 6x6. I have already added some double stick tape to the back, and I am going to peel away my tape backers, and in a minute you guys are going to see that an old friend is back. And I'm going to go ahead and place these down just like this. And if you happen to hear any background noise, my studio actually kind of sort of shares a wall with the performing arts studio, and the kids are practicing today. You think you're hearing a piano or you're hearing singing, that's what it is. But they sound wonderful. So I am going to go ahead and just place this down, giving myself about 1/8 of an inch in spacing right there. And as you can see, I don't need all of this, but I am just going to take my straight edge ruler and place it down against the chipboard, and then I'll just tear along the ruler. That's giving me a nice straight edge on my tear. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here. I don't need all of this, so I am just going to tear. So this is what we have, and because I'm using wrapping paper, I don't have to worry about my paper splitting. But if you're using any type of paper that you think might split or crack, go ahead and take your stylus, press it against the chipboard, and go around the perimeter of your project. But if you're not, all you need to do, stand it up, and let's do our normal fold over. And you can see where I did the fold over. We have sort of an intersection right here where this fold meets this fold. All you need to do is cut through that. And that's how we miter. So now we're going to take some tape, and I'm going to use my tape runner, but you can use tape or glue, whatever it is you want to use on this part. And I am going to take that and just place it on all of these pieces so that I can do my fold over. So now I'm going to stand it up, and I'll just fold over these pieces. And guess who's back? Big old spatula. I was finally able to get those things unpacked, and it's back. So it just makes such a difference in my crafting. So I am going to go into that spine area and make sure that I have everything nice and stuffed. So now we need to do our inside liner piece. So I am going to cut a piece that is 5 3/4 by 11 3/4. And I am going to take my ruler, and I am going to make a mark at 5 3/4. And then I am just going to place that ruler on that mark. And then to make sure that I'm 5 3/4 of an inch going across this, I'm going to take another ruler and just bring it across and down. And I'm close enough. So when I'm close enough, I'll just tear. And if you don't want to do this process on your measuring, you can use your trimmer to cut, which is what I'm going to do on this end, because I want to go ahead and get 11 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to place it in and trim. So now that I have this piece, we're going to place it in just like this. So this is why having the large sheet paper is good, because we're now able to do the inside, and I'll also be able to do the side pieces in that feather pattern. So I'm going to grab my tape, and I am just going to place some tape mainly on the chipboard. I want to cover that. So now I'm just going to smooth that out, and I'll take my liner piece, and I'm just going to go along the edges and place tape along the edges on all 4 sides, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and remove my tape covering, and I'll remove it from the liner as well. And now I can take this piece, and we're going to place it down. And because I'm using pattern on pattern, if I happen to be off a little bit on my placement, it's not going to matter at all. So I'm going to make sure I have a nice crisp spine. And so now I have the body of my shelf. So now we need our ruler, and we need our pieces that measure 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. And we'll be doing the same process on each one of the 5 7/8 by 5 7/8 inch pieces. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler, and we're going to place it next to the board and make a mark at 2. Go to the other side here, place your ruler, and again we're going to make a mark at 2. So you can see that I have my ruler upside down, but there's my 2 mark. So I'm just going to place my mark at 2. So we're going to have a mark here and a mark here. What we're going to do is we're going to cut out following this mark. So I'll place down my ruler and I'll make a mark so that you guys can see what I'm about to do. So there's that mark. I'm just going to cut it out. So I am just going to trim away and remove. And so once you have one done, you can basically just use that as the template for the others. So I've laid it down and I'm just going to cut. And I've already done 2. And you can see that we have a pretty good match on all of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just place tape right now on one side of my board. And sometimes it can get a little noisy in here. On one side of me, I have a performing arts studio. And on the other side, I have a pottery studio. But it's all good because I love being in this creative environment. So let's just go ahead and do this one. All right, so now that we have one side of all of our pieces covered, I am going to go ahead and bring this piece back in because we're going to use it to cover our outside piece. So I'm going to go ahead, and this time I'm just going to trim it. So you can see from that one piece of 20 by 30, we've been able to get the necessary pieces for our project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and place it down. So when I place it down, I'm making sure that I have a border on all of my sides. And then here's what we're going to do. In the corner, I'm just going to angle like that. We'll do the same thing here. Same thing here because we have a corner. And then here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut straight across. And now I'll cut this to get my border piece to wrap around. Now we have a corner here. So again, I'll do my angle. And then I'll do this piece. So now I can take my tape runner and place some tape runner on all of my pieces that are going to be wrapped over. And then I'll just take this and wrap these pieces over. And so now I'm just going to take my tape and I am going to place my tape along the edge as close as I can get to the edge without it sticking out. And now I'm just going to take my wider tape and fill in. So now that we have our tape on this piece, all we need to do at this point is take it and lay it down. And then I'll use my big old spatula to get everything nice and smooth. And now I'm going to use my finger blade just to go around and trim away the excess. And now I can take my big old spatula and just go around and make sure I have nice, smooth edges and that my tape is stuck. And so when you place it down, you're going to place it down with the fold over side on the inside so that where you made your cuts, if you have any cuts that aren't straight, then those cuts will be on the inside. But we're not going to put this down just yet. So now we're going to go ahead and do the other side. So I'm peeling away my tape backer. I am going to bring in my rolled paper. And when I placed the first one down, I placed it down so that it was going in this direction. But now I want to make sure that when I do the fold over, I have the fold over side on the other direction. So it'll make sense in just a minute. I'm not going to take this piece and place it down this way. This time I'm going to place it down this way. All right, so we've got this piece down. We're going to go ahead and do exactly what we did on the other one. So everywhere we have a point, we're going to notch out. And this just makes it easy for us to be able to fold over. So here we have a point, but this time we're going to come straight across. And now we'll remove that piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. And then I'm just going to move this one to the side for just a minute so that I can show you how to do one of the inside pieces. So what we need to do on this piece is when we put it down, we're not going to have any border here at the bottom because we need that complete fold over. So we're going to take this and place it right at the bottom. And I'll flip it over, smooth it out. And you guys might hear Loki running. She's here also. So I've got a lot of activity going on today. So now we're going to take this and I am just going to cut straight across like we did on the other one. And then I'll cut down to remove this piece. And now I'll notch out my V's. We'll notch out here as well. So I'm going to bring the other one back in so that you can see it. And you can see that they're very similar. The only difference is this one I have border space at the bottom. This one I don't. And because this is cardstock and I want an easier fold, I am just going to go ahead and use my stylus to give myself a little bit of a score. And I'll just kind of fold that over just a little bit. Now I can take my tape runner, add some tape, and I'm going to fold this over, fold that over, and fold this over. Now I can take my tape, and we're going to place tape down just like we did on the initial one. So I'll place my tape very close to the edge. And then all we do is fill in with our tape on all of these. So I wanted to make sure I showed you how to do the side piece and the interior piece before I go off camera to finish applying tape, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have covered these three, front and back. I'm going to go ahead and do the final one with you guys. So I have added my tape, and I'll peel away the tape. So once we have this side completely taped, we can stand it up, get that little crease going, fold it over, and lay it down. And you can see why we had to bring the original piece all the way to the edge, because we don't have much room to spare because we were using a piece that was 12 inches long. Now, if you're using sheet paper, you can do it exactly like I did the side panels. And I am just trimming away that excess. And now I'm just going to use my big old spatula just to go around and make sure that all of those wraparound pieces are nice and tight. So we're ready to put it together. So now we have our two inside pieces and we have our two outside pieces. We're going to put these down in the exact same way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Reptile glue and place glue on the bottom edge of both long sides. It's going to be so easy. And then once I have that glue down, I'll take it and put it down just like this and hold it until it sets up for a minute. So let's go ahead and put our glue. And make sure that no matter what type glue you're using, you're very generous with it, because you don't want your piece to come undone. And the one thing I know about the reptile is once I put it down and I know that it's stuck, it does not come undone unless it's mistreated. So I have glue on both long ends. I'm going to take this, and when I put it down, I'm going to go in about 1/8 of an inch. Straighten that up. And then I'll hold it for about a minute. Let it set up enough on its own, and then I can move on to the other pieces. And the reptile glue does dry clear, but if you happen to notice that you have any big globs on the inside, just wipe those with either a paper towel or your finger, just to keep it nice and smooth. So you can see that that piece is in. And so now I'm going to go ahead and place my second piece. And I'm placing both outside pieces first so that I can get my spacing right on the inside. So again, I'm going to take my handy dandy reptile, place my glue on the back, go ahead and place some glue here. And now I can take it, and I'm just going to bring it in about 1/8 of an inch and get it stuck. So there we have the shell of the little holder. We're going to go ahead and place our inside pieces just like this. So again, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to take my glue, and I'm going to place glue on the 2 longest sides. And then when I put this down, I am just going to eyeball where I want it to go. You can measure and make marks if you want, but I'm just eyeballing it. So now I'm going to hold this for just a minute, and we'll put the last piece in place. So when you're holding it, make sure you're pressing against the back and pressing down. That's going to give you a very good stick. And so now we have that piece in. Don't you think that looks really, really nice? I'm going to go ahead and do the last one, and our 6x6 paper holder is going to be done. So now we're going to take this piece, and I'm just eyeballing. Like I said, nothing exact here. If you want it more exact, go ahead and pull out your ruler and make yourself some marks. So I am going to hold this in place, let it set up for just a minute, and I'll be right back. All right, so it is not completely dry, but you can see just how gorgeous this is, how easy it was to make. I'm not putting a front on this or anything because I want us to be able to slide the books in and slide them out. And when you're finished with yours, you're going to have something that is very high-end looking, something that you would pay quite a few dollars for in the store, but we don't have to pay that money anymore, guys, because we know how to make these. So I am going to bring the first one back in, and it is completely dry. So I'm going to take my 6x6 pads and just slide them in. So you can see how if you have this on a shelf, you have easy access to be able to just slide these out and use them as you need them. If you're making, let's say, notebooks and you have some 5x7s, you can store those in here as well. If you have some 4x6s, you can store those in here as well. Multifunctional is what we're going for with these organizational projects. So I am just going to show you guys this one from the side so you can see how gorgeous it is. Don't be afraid to mix your patterns. So I hope that you have enjoyed this awesome 6x6 paper pad holder. If you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join this amazing online crafting family. So as always, please be safe, be kind, be the reason someone smiles today. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.